There are movies that arrive at the wrong time. Movies that get crushed by expectations, by marketing, or by the sheer gravity of another film opening the same week. But sometimes, decades later, those same movies start to feel different, fresher, smarter, and way more fun than anyone remembered. And to me, Last Action Hero is one of the best examples of that. A film that was supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger's next unstoppable summer blockbuster, and instead became one of the most misunderstood and unfairly judged movies of the 90s. And here's the thing, I saw this movie when I was around 13 or 14, and I instantly loved it. Somehow, even at that age, its weird tone, its meta jokes, the satire...
Hello, Mrs. Madigan. Arnold Braunschweiger.
The giant action sequences, the cameos, all of it clicked for me. But now, being an adult, I realize why that was. Because the film's child role, Danny Madigan, is me. I was amazed by big Hollywood action movies when I was a kid. The atmosphere of the theater, the smell of popcorn, and the flickering projector transported me into a different world, where there was no homework, no troubles, only fun. The bad guys always get what is coming to them, the good always wins.
You are gonna pay. Ooh, are you gonna pay?
Simple times. I was grinning the whole time watching the film, just like Danny. And it did something else too. It shot my respect for Arnold Schwarzenegger through the roof. Because here was the world's biggest action star, at the peak of his power, willingly poking fun at himself, playing his own cliches, playing with his own image, making fun of his one-liners.
Is that guy?
And doing it with total confidence. And what makes that even better is the fact that Arnold wasn't just a star, he was deeply involved behind the scenes. He helped shape the movie, he believed in the concept, he pushed the marketing. He really got the idea and wanted to bring this strange meta-action comedy to life. Unfortunately, the audience didn't get it, the critics didn't get it, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Last Action Hero was released in the summer of 1993. Directed by John McTiernan, written by Zach Penn, Adam Leff, Shane Black and David Arnott. And backed by Columbia Pictures with a massive budget, a huge marketing campaign, and the expectation that this would be the next Terminator 2. It had everything studios loved. Arnold at his peak, a kid-friendly look, a high-concept premise, explosive action, and McTiernan fresh off Die Hard and The Hunt for Red October. On paper, this was a done deal. In reality, it was a bit more complicated. Because the movie wasn't a straight action film, it was a parody, a satire, a meta-commentary on Hollywood action tropes.
This movie we only killed 48 people, and compared to the last one where we killed 119.
And a comedy that loved the thing it was making fun of. Basically, it was a blockbuster about blockbusters, something audiences in 1993 were not really prepared for. And then fate delivered the final blow. The movie opened 1 week after Jurassic Park. Probably the single worst release date choice of the entire decade.
But life, finds a way.
Okay, so let's dive into the movie. The fun already starts with the poster. Just look at it. The details, the chaos, the explosions, the characters flying out of the frame. It's pure adventure, pure spectacle, and completely over the top in a good way. It captures the energy of the film so perfectly that you almost know exactly what kind of wild ride you're in before you even hit play. If you haven't seen it in a while, here is the quick version. Danny Madigan, a lonely kid obsessed with action movies, gets a magical movie ticket that transports him into the fictional world of Jack Slater,
Please retain your stub, sir.
Arnold's over-the-top action hero character. Inside the movie, everything is bigger, louder,
Who the hell are you?
dumber, and more predictable. Cars explode when you close the door, everyone is beautiful, phone numbers all start with 555.
That's why we have area codes.
The explosives are supplied by Acme. I just love that. And Jack Slater genuinely believes he's a real cop, not an action movie stereotype. The film plays with this idea over and over again, blending absurd comedy with massive action sequences, cameos, jokes about Hollywood, jokes about Arnold himself,
Where are the Schwarzenegger films?
Foreign films are in the back.
and fantastic villains like Benedict, played by Charles Dance, who is so good he basically walks off with the entire movie. Then the movie breaks its own rules, lets the characters cross into the real world, and suddenly Jack Slater realizes that heroes bleed here, pain matters, and people die for real. This leads to some genuinely interesting moments, even philosophical ones, buried beneath the fireworks.
I'm just an imaginary hero, Danny. You have a real life.
You're real to me.
The fun thing about this film that it somehow stays coherent while being absolutely crazy. I can only imagine how much fun the brainstorming sessions must have been, because when you establish the rules of this universe, a meta movie inside a movie, you're technically putting yourself in a box. But within that box, there is endless room to play. The whole setup becomes this giant creative sandbox, giving the writers the freedom to act like kids again, throwing their fantasies, jokes and wildest ideas straight onto the screen. Then there is the contrast between real life and movie fantasy. The real New York is dirty, dangerous, grimy, and full of rough edges and unpleasant people. But Jack Slater's Los Angeles, it's pure perfection. Sunshine, glamorous faces, cartoon logic, and action movie physics. Two worlds that couldn't be more different, and the film has a blast jumping between them. Critics at the time said the film was messy, tonally confused, too silly for adults, too smart for kids, too long, too weird, too meta.
I hate when that happens.
And honestly, I get why people were confused. Look at this scene for example, Charles Dance playing it completely straight, yet with a snap of a finger the dogs pile up into a pyramid. It's a cartoon joke, yet it still works somehow. Maybe the very reason that movies like Naked Gun work, the contrast itself makes it funny. And then there is the Hamlet parody. I just love that scene. Danny's teacher says,
Shakespeare's Hamlet couldn't be more exciting. He is, in fact, one of the first action heroes.
And of course, Danny immediately imagines Arnold Schwarzenegger in the role. Suddenly you've got Hamlet with an Uzi, blowing up castle walls and tossing villains into fireplaces.
Who said I'm fair?
It's absurd, it's cartoony, and it was not really necessary to put it in the film, but it perfectly captures how Last Action Hero plays with fantasy. No rules, pure imagination turned up to 11.
Not to be.
The film kept zigzagging between parody, comedy, and actual action. Some scenes felt like Die Hard, others felt like Looney Tunes. But for me, even as a kid, that was the charm. Because the movie was doing something totally new. It was playing with rules long before meta blockbusters were a thing, long before Scream or Tropic Thunder, Deadpool or The Unbearable Weight of a Massive Talent. And Arnold was in on the joke the entire time. He was parodying himself while still delivering the goods. That takes guts and confidence and the real understanding of what made him iconic in the first place. Okay, we also have to talk about the villains. Because Last Action Hero has 2, or maybe 3, or even 4 of the most enjoyable villains of the whole 90s era. Charles Dance's Benedict is pure gold. Stylish, precise, British, sarcastic and genuinely dangerous.
Who's asking?
The Tin Man.
Well, Tin Man, suppose you hit the bricks.
Nah, they're the wrong color.
Are they? Oh dear. By all means, let's change them. Would arterial red suit you?
He gets some of the best lines in the film, and he's clearly having the time of his life. Oh, and by the way, Charles Dance's video is coming very soon. His boss, Anthony Quinn, Zorba the Greek himself, plays a traditional Italian mafia boss Vivaldi, but it's still a lot of fun to see him in that role.
Tony Vivaldi is number 1.
Tom Noonan plays both the movie villain the Ripper and himself, the real actor, and he's having so much fun with it. And then there is F. Murray Abraham, the corrupt cop trying to outsmart Jack Slater, but of course he fails. These guys got the message, they knew what kind of movie this was and leaned into it completely. And while you can already see that this movie is packed with names, one of the most fun aspects of Last Action Hero is the cameo overload. You got Sharon Stone, Robert Patrick walking by as a T-1000, Danny DeVito voicing a cartoon cat, Jim Belushi, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Tina Turner as the mayor, Chevy Chase, and the list just goes on and on and on. The Stallone Terminator joke is legendary in itself. And even Ian McKellen walking through the screen as Death from the Seventh Seal. It's ridiculous in the best way possible. Hollywood making fun of Hollywood.
Talking about Hollywood, at Planet Hollywood we have this incredible memorabilia. I'm telling you, it's just absolutely fabulous. I'm telling you.
Characters making fun of characters. And the whole thing becomes this surreal fever dream of 90s blockbuster culture. And I also have to mention the soundtrack, because for me, Last Action Hero wasn't just a movie, it was a gateway drug. This was one of the very first CDs I ever bought in my life, and I remember playing it over and over again. It had AC/DC, Megadeth, Alice in Chains, Anthrax, Queenrich, Def Leppard, an absolutely stacked lineup of 90s rock and metal. And it basically introduced me to an entire world of music I had never really explored before. This soundtrack didn't just support the film, it shaped my taste. It gave me a vibe, a personality, a musical identity, and ever since then, rock and metal have been a constant in my life. So for me, Last Action Hero wasn't only influential as a film, it also changed the way I listen to music forever. For years, Last Action Hero was labeled a failure, too weird, too ambitious, too confused for its own good. But as time passed, something changed. New audiences rediscovered it, film critics rewatched it, Schwarzenegger fans embraced it, and people who grew up with the movie, like me, never forgot how bold, funny and different it was. Today, it's considered a cult classic and a film ahead of its time. A proto-meta blockbuster. And honestly, I think that reputation is deserved. Because this wasn't a safe movie, this wasn't a studio product built to blend in, it was messy, chaotic, ambitious, and trying something new in a genre that rarely takes risks. When I look back at Last Action Hero, I don't see the flop from 1993, I see a movie filled with ideas, a movie made with genuine passion, a movie where the world's biggest action star decided to poke fun at himself and still deliver insane action while doing it. It's imperfect, it's strange, it's over the top, and that's exactly why it's great. It took decades, but it finally feels like Last Action Hero found its place, not as a punchline, but as one of the boldest, most entertaining and most misunderstood action films of its time. And if any film deserves a rediscovery, it's this one.
Is that all, sport?
Yep. That about does it.
Thanks for watching.